There's a common misconception that I hate Kawasaki's. Everyone that owns a freaking Kawasaki motorcycle always comments, and they're always so defensive and insecure, being like, why don't you like my bike? Oh my God, why do you hate Kawasaki so much? This guy talks crap about Kawasaki's any chance he gets. But that's not even true. But I asked on my YouTube community post, what bikes do you think I actually hate? And there it was, the Versys 650, Kawasaki people up at the top, and a whole other types of motorcycles. But I want to make this video to clear the air, to extend an olive branch, to try to reach out and shake the hands of the Kawasaki people that seem to be so upset, and all the other people that seem to be so upset that you think that I hate your motorcycle. It's not that I hate the bike, it's that I hate the rider. I'm just kidding. I love all the riders. Come on, guys. We're just having some fun. Let's talk about the 650 platform from Kawasaki first, though. Okay. Everybody's been telling me, Yam, you hate the Versys 650, the Vulcan 650s. And while I do think that that motor is a little pedestrian, let's say, I think that there's lots of more interesting motors you could buy for similar price points. Think about the V-Strom 650, the MT-07. Both of those have way more character and pizzazz than the humble little Versys 650 and the 650 platform motorcycles, Ninja 650 included. But that doesn't mean I hate all Kawasaki's. I just think their 650 series of bikes are painfully boring. I mean, you look at the ZX4RR, this screaming little inline-4 399cc engine, super fun motorcycle. The venerable Ninja 400, a fantastic motorcycle. I don't really love the Z900 platforms that much. I don't think they're that interesting. But then you have the almighty freaking H2 and ZH2. Those are top of the heap for me in terms of bikes that I like. So to say that I hate Kawasaki's just isn't quite true, is it? Now, just because you own a Ninja 650, a Versys 650, a Vulcan 650, it doesn't mean that I hate you. It just means you have bad taste. All right, the other one I see all the time is that, Yam, you hate cruisers. You hate all cruisers. You don't like them at all. You're a big meanie to cruisers, and you don't understand the cruiser lifestyle. And to that I say, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. There's lots of cruisers that I like. In fact, one of the ones that you might not even realize that I like is the Sportster from Harley-Davidson. I think that bike has tons of charm and character. It's this lumpy, iron-feeling, air-cooled engine. It has a lot in common with my Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. It's very authentic feeling. I just don't like the price points of Harley-Davidsons more often than not. The Indian Scout as well is a cruiser that I absolutely adored, really loved riding that thing. The Honda Rebel 1100 is a really good motorcycle. The Triumph Rocket 3, also amazing. The Yamaha VMAX, a sort of muscle cruiser. The Ducati Diavolo. There's plenty of cruisers I've ridden that I've really enjoyed. There's two facets of cruiser riding that I need to talk about though. There are many metric cruisers that, much like the Versys 650, Vulcan 650s, I just find to be very uninspired and very me too. So it's stuff like the Yamaha Bolt and the Suzuki Boulevard. I don't know, guys, like those motorcycles, they just don't really scream a whole lot of pizzazz and character, right? Because over the past 2-3 decades, every Japanese manufacturer has tried to strike at the Harley-Davidson Sportster market and pretty much failed. The only manufacturer that comes close is the Royal Enfield's. The Interceptor 650, in my opinion, is a spiritual successor to the Sportster, despite not really being that cruiser geometry and ergonomics. That's the second facet about cruisers I want to talk about that sometimes people think that I hate about them. The geometry and ergonomics of those bikes just don't really lend themselves to be ridden hard at all. And look, I'm not saying that every motorcycle needs to be ridden hard, but when you're carving a twisty turn and you're not even trying to go fast and you're already dragging hard parts, that diminishes the experience of riding the motorcycle to me. I think any bike that I ride, any bike that's conceived or built, should be able to do basic motorcycle things. If you find yourself in a weird shape or ergonomic position on a motorcycle just because of the stylistic or heritage implications, I'm sorry, but that's just not really a good excuse, is it? So there's plenty of fun cruisers that I've ridden, there's plenty of interesting cruisers, but metric cruisers, a little boring, and overall, cruisers tend to have a limited and strange geometry and ergonomics don't lend themselves to the kind of riding that I would like to do. And I'm not just a sport bike guy. I literally have a Scrambler that I ride around all the time, but that thing's not dragging hard parts every time I take a corner a little bit faster now, is it? The next one that pops up a lot that people think that I hate, but I actually don't, I actually really like this category, it's ADV bikes. people have gotten in their heads that I really dislike ADV bikes. Maybe it's because I make fun of BMW GS owners so much, but I only do that because I don't really like the GS at all. I think that motor is very uninspired. It's a lumbering, dopey kind of bike. It's really not the bike for me. But to say that I don't like all ADVs is a bit harsh, don't you think? In fact, one of my very favorite motorcycles, and one that I'm actually considering maybe upgrading to, is the Aprilia Touareg 660. I test rode that bike in Sardinia, and I had a ton of fun with it. I think it hits all the marks of a jack-of-all-trades motorcycle. In truth, I find most modern middleweight ADVs to be the new generation of scramblers. These are bikes that can kind of do everything. We've just kind of rebranded them in this adventure touring category. But the fact that you can put some bags on them, go hit up a big trip, do a little gravel road, maybe a light forest road type of thing, pop a couple wheelies, have fun, get good fuel economy, that makes a really good motorcycle in my opinion, and one that I'm considering getting. In fact, my Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled is kind of a bad naked ADV, and the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE might as well be an ADV motorcycle when you look at the specs. So I really don't hate ADVs. What I don't like is the BMW GS, and I don't really like some of the culture around big bad ADV guys. That's my thing. All right, this one you guys might have me dead to rights on. It's the Honda CBR 500R. Now, I don't know why Honda people are so defensive, so insecure about the 500. It's just simply not that great. If you bought one, I'm sorry, my press F to pay respects to your wallet because I think you made a terrible financial decision because the bike is overpriced, overweight, and ultimately not very interesting to ride. When you look at something like the Ninja 500s and 400s, they're cheaper, they're better, they're more peppy, they're more effervescent, and the only excuse I hear for CBR 500R owners is that the CBR 500 feels more substantial and like a big bike. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that your small displacement sport bike feels substantial. Besides, the CF Moto 450 SS has way more character out of that engine, and it still feels substantial. I was actually blown away by the CF Moto 450 in that it actually felt like a bigger motorcycle than a Ninja 400. So if you're trying to get into motorcycling, you want something that's a little bit bigger, you want to feel a little bit more comfortable on it, the CF Moto 450 SS, in my opinion, is a way better pick than the Honda CBR 500R. And I know you're already typing saying, oh my God, this guy's an idiot because Chinese bikes suck and it's Honda build quality and reliability. Well, dude, the freaking CF Moto is like $2,000 less than the Honda. The Honda's price point makes no sense. And Honda literally tripped first into this category of 500s. They've been out there making the 500 for years and years in this weird oddball category, kind of a holdover from the old GS 500s. And I just don't think that bike is that competitive or that interesting. So if you think I hate it, it's not that I hate it, it's just that I think that there are way better options than the CBR 500R. It's true.
Folks, let me take a quick break to tell you about our giveaway GSX 8R. I have honestly been kind of blown away by this thing. Yes, I famously called it the French bulldog of motorcycles, but Suzuki's built an awesome, fun, flexible platform that allows you to lay down serious miles, tackle twisty roads, or just simply commute as well. It's a rewarding bike to ride, and I can't wait to keep enjoying it for the time I have it. Head over to yamanoob.co and become a member to start earning automatic entries that never expire. You can stack them up, apply them towards the current giveaway, or wait until we drop a new giveaway you're more interested in. It's the best way to support the show, and we literally could not do what we do without the thousands of members on the website. You also get access to our Discord server, which is easily the biggest and best in motorcycling. So head over there, sign up, and support. Thanks. Now let's get back into this episode.
Harping on Hondas a little bit, there's this conception that I dislike the Honda CBR 650R because I never talk about it. But the reason I never talk about it, it's because it's been out there for a long time and there's just newer bikes that people want to hear about. I also think that the CBR 650R, while being one of the last middleweight inline 4 motorcycles that is very unique, Honda again has kind of tripped first into this category. It's not that they intentionally designed this motorcycle for the category, it's that they kind of just ended up being there and they're like, okay, we're here now, so let's just keep making it. I've ridden that bike many times. I found it to be very heavy for the category. It doesn't flick over as fast as something like the Yamaha R7 or the Aprilia R660, and it just doesn't have whole that much character other than the fact that it's got a silky smooth inline 4. So cool, it's got an inline 4, that's great. I'd rather have a ZX4RR, which probably breaks the brains of people who think that I hate Kawasaki and the Hondas all at the same time. So I don't know. All right, and finally wrapping up today, people think I really dislike Amazon and Chinese motorcycles. So let's make a distinction here. Chinese motorcycles can be a broad category, right? You have stuff like the Boom BD250 that I bought last year and just mercilessly tore apart because they literally were lying about all of the specifications of that machine. And I thought that people should know about that. So Venom Motorsports, shame on you for lying to people and to sell a product that's just vastly inferior and overpriced. I don't think that these have a place in the market. Truly, I don't. Even if you're a super price conscious consumer, you can buy a slightly used Ninja 250 for less than you would pay for these pieces of junk that no one's gonna buy off of you. If you buy a used Ninja 250, you can resell it later on. If you buy a Boom BD250, no one will ever buy that thing. You are stuck with that and you just nuked $3,500. So those categories of bikes, the Amazon bikes, the super cheapo Chinese stuff that barely works, is really not my bag. You should spend a little bit more and get a more sophisticated, robust, and reliable product. And actually, I found out that there's people in the Chinese bike forums that have clowned on me because apparently I'm not smart enough to set up the bike or all that. I think that if you're buying a motorcycle and you need to be a part-time mechanic just to get it down the road, it's not a good motorcycle. That's not a sign that you are some big brain owner of a bike. It's a sign that you bought something ultra cheap because, yeah, you just felt like not spending more money. So yeah, that's not really a badge of honor in my opinion. Now the other end of the spectrum are the Chinese bikes like the CF Moto 450 SS, the Ibex 800s, those bikes that CF Moto is making. I don't actually have a problem with any of those. I think that many of those bikes are totally fine. A lot of those bikes are KTM partnership motorcycles, so they tend to work really, really well anyways. And I think that they're a great fit for the market. They're coming in really price correct. They seem to be relatively reliable from what I've seen. It's not gonna be like a Japanese motorcycle, but you gotta give them a little bit of time. But I'm not some CF Moto apologist like some channels on YouTube. If I don't like the bike, I would tell you guys just straight up. But the CF Moto 450 SS is a really decent little bike. And a lot of CF Motos I've ridden are really decent little bikes, and I don't have anything to complain about them immediately. There's not some secret conspiracy that everybody's trying to push Chinese bikes on you. It's that they were riding these bikes and thinking, hey, they're pretty good. They're really not that bad. So guys, those are motorcycles that people think that I hate, but I actually don't. It's a little more nuanced than that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. I had a lot of fun making this video, going down memory lane a little bit and talking about these motorcycles. If you have something to tell me, we'll go to the Discord server on yammynoob.co and you can at me directly and poke at me and say, why do you hate Versys 650? Why do you hate Versys 650? Why do you hate the Versys 650? I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Folks, you made it to the end of this video. That's it. There's nothing else. I'm sure it was a good one. I don't know what happened in it, but I do know that this GSX-8R is ending as a giveaway bike, and I don't want you to miss it. So head over to yammynoob.co and become a member. It's a great way to support the show, and I'd love to see you on the Discord server. So don't miss out. Hit that link down below. But in the meantime, hit this link right over here and keep watching the next video. You're not going to regret it.